Para makuha natin ang mga reaction sa beam na to, putulin natin yung beam sa point P kung saan may internal hinge. Note, pag nakakita ka ng internal hinge, automatic, dun mo siya puputulin. Then kunin natin yung mga reaction using equilibrium equations. Consider first the left side. So, yung magiging equation mo dun is summation f of x is equals to 0. dx minus 4 sine 30 degrees is equals to 0. So, ang dx natin is equals to 2 kip. Then, mag-moment ka sa D para makuha yung reaction sa A. So, summation moment at D is equals to 0. 8 times 2 plus 4 cosine 30 times 12 minus NA times 6 is equals to 0. So, ang NA natin is 9.59 kips. Then, moment ka sa A para makuha yung dy. So, summation moment at A is equals to 0. dy times 6 plus 4 cosine 30 times 6 minus 8 times 4 is equals to 0. So, ang dy natin is 1.869 kips. By considering the right side, makukuha mo na yung mga reactions ng C gamit yung mga reactions ng D. So, summation of f of x is equals to 0. Cx minus 2 minus 12 times 3 over 5 is equals to 0. So, ang Cx natin is 9.20 kips. Summation moment at C is equals to 0. 1.869 times 24 plus 15 plus 12 times 4 over 5 times 8 minus NB times 16 is equals to 0. Ang NB natin is 8.54 kips. At summation moment at B is equals to 0. 1.869 times 8 plus 15 minus 12 over 4 over 5 times 8 minus CY times 16 is equals to 0. So, ang CY natin is equals to 2.93 kips. Para ma-solve natin itong problem na to, ilagay muna natin yung mga forces. By and Bx sa point B, normal force sa point A, smooth surface ito, kaya normal to the surface ang ilalagay natin dito. At yung resultant load, para makuha yung reaction sa A, mag-moment lang tayo sa B. So, summation moment at B is equals to 0. NA cosine 60 times 10 minus NA times sine 60 times 5 minus 150 times 10 times 5 is equals to 0. So, ang NA natin is equals to 11,196.15 pounds, which is 11.2 kips. Para makuha natin yung sa Bx, summation Fx lang. So, summation f of x is equals to 0. Bx minus 11,196.15 sine 60 is equals to 0. So, ang Bx natin is 9,696.15 pounds, which is 9.70 kips. Then, summation Fy lang para makuha yung sa By. So, summation f of y is equals to 0. 11,196.15 cosine 60 minus 150 times 10 minus by is equals to 0. So, ang by natin is equals to 4,098.08 pounds, which is 4.10 kips. First off, draw all the possible reactions of the wall principle. Sa solution natin, in-isolate yung beam ABC kung nasaan yung cable at yung member BD. Para makuha natin yung tension sa cable, mag-summation Fy lang tayo. So, summation of f of y is equals to 0. 2t minus 700 is equals to 0. So, ang tension sa cable is equals to 350 pounds. Considering member ABC, mag-moment naman tayo sa A para makuha natin yung tension force sa BD. So, summation moment at A is equals to 0. dBD sine 45 times 4 minus 350 sine 60 times 4 minus 700 times 8 is equals to 0. So, ang dBD natin is equals to 2,409. Mag-summation Fy lang tayo para makuha yung vertical reaction sa A. So, summation F of y is equals to 0. Ay plus 2,409 sine 45 minus 350 sine 60 minus 700 is equals to 0. So, ang ay natin is equals to 700 pounds. Summation f of x naman para makuha yung horizontal reaction. So, magiging f of x is equals to 0. Ax minus 2,409 cosine 45 minus 350 cosine 60 plus 350 minus 350 is equals to 0. So, ang Ax natin is equals to 1.88 kips. Since na may tension na tayo sa BD, makukuha natin yung reaction sa D. Iko-component lang natin yung force na BD. So, dx is equals to 2,409 cosine 45 is equals to 1,703.1 pounds, which is 1.7 kips. Ang dy natin is equal to 2,409 sine 45, which is also equal to 1.70 kips. Para makuha natin yung mga reactions, isolate natin yung member ABC at member CD at horizontal po natin yung uniform load. I-set natin yung mga possible reactions sa mga loads na kailangan. Ngayon, consider muna natin yung sa member CD. Mag-moment tayo sa D para makuha natin yung horizontal force sa C. So, summation moment at D is equals to 0. Negative Cx times 6 plus 90 times 3 is equals to 0. So, ang Cx natin is equals to 45 kN. Para makuha yung dx, mag-summation horizontal lang tayo. So, summation f of x is equals to 0. dx plus 45 minus 90 is equals to 0. So, ang dx natin will be 45 kilonewtons. At kapag nag-summation fy tayo, dy minus cy will be 0. So, this will be equation number 1. Consider naman natin yung members ABC. Mag-summation moment lang tayo at A para makuha yung cy. So, summation moment at A is equals to 0. cy times 5 plus 45 times 4 minus 50 times 1.5 minus 40 times 3.5 is equals to 0. So, ang cy natin is equals to 7 kilonewtons. Para makuha yung ay, summation fy lang tayo. So, summation of f of y is equals to 0. Ay plus 7 minus 50 minus 40 is equals to 0. So, ang ay natin is equals to 83 kilonewton. Mag-summation f of x lang tayo para makuha yung ax. So, summation f of x is equals to 0. Ax minus 45 is equals to 0. So, ang ax natin is equals to 45 kilonewton. At galing dun sa equation 1, ang dy natin will be 7 kilonewton. Para ma-compute natin yung mga reactions, kailangan natin i-consider ang whole structure. Pwede tayong mag-moment sa point A or sa point C. In this case, moment tayo sa point C. So, summation moment at C is equal to 0. Negative 1.5 times 10 times 5 plus AY times 10 minus 2 times 6 is equal to 0. So, ang AY natin is 8.70 K. Para makuha yung vertical reaction ng C, mag-summation vertical tayo. So, summation vertical is equals to 0. 8.7 plus CY minus 1.5 times 10 is equal to 0. CY is equals to negative 6.3. To compute for the reaction at B, i-isolate lang natin ang beam AB. Take note, sa tuwing mag-isolate tayo ng beam from a structure, assume as fixed ang connections nito. So magkakaroon tayo ng vertical, horizontal, at moment sa mga joints dito. But in this case, vertical at moment lang kasi walang horizontal load. Assume muna tayo ng direction ng moment, let's say clockwise. Para makuha yung moment sa B, mag-summation moment lang tayo sa B. So, summation moment at B is equals to 0. 8.7 times 10 minus 1.5 times 10 times 5 plus MB is equals to 0. So, ang MB natin is negative 12. The negative moment means mali ang inassume mong direction. After nito, pwede na natin gawin ang shear and moment diagram. To solve this type of truss, we must first get the reaction on each supports. To get this, consider the entire truss. Mag-moment tayo sa D, so summation moment at D is equals to 0. 2 times 8 plus 2 times 16 minus AY times 24 is equal to 0. So ang AY natin is equal to 2.0K. Kapag nag-summation horizontal tayo, makikita natin na walang reaction dito. Ngayong may reactions na tayo, gumamit tayo ng method of joints para masolve ang mga member forces nito. First, isolate natin ang joint A at mag-summation Fy at Fx tayo dito. So, summation Fy is equals to 0. 2.0 minus FAH times 1 over square root of 5 is equals to 0. So, ang FAH natin is 4.472K, which is in compression. Then, summation f of x is equals to 0. FAB minus 4.472 times 2 over square root of 5 is equals to 0. So, FAB natin is equal to 4K, which is in tension. Now, isolate joint B. So, summation of f of x is equals to 0. FBC minus 4 is equals to 0. So, ang FBC natin is equals to 4K, which is in tension. And summation of f of y is equals to 0. So, ang FBH natin is equals to 0. Then, isolate joint H. Summation of f of y is equals to 0. F of HC times sine 53.13 minus 2 sine 63.43 is equals to 0. So, FHC natin will be 2.236K, which is in compression. Then, summation f of x is equals to 0. 4.472 minus 2 cosine 63.43 degrees minus 2.236 cosine 53.13 degrees minus FHG is equals to 0. So, ang FHG natin will be 2.236K, which is in compression. Then isolate joint F. So, summation f of x is equals to 0. F of fg is equals to 0. Summation of f of y is equals to 0. F of fe minus 1.5 is equals to 0. So, ang f of fe natin will be 1.5K, which is in compression. After this, i-isolate naman natin yung joint G. So, f of fg is equals to 0. 2.236 times 2 over square root of 5 minus f of ge is equals to 2 over square root of 5 will be 0. F of fg is equals to 2.236K, which is in compression. Summation f of y is equals to 0. 2.236 times 1 over square root of 5 plus 2.236 times 1 over square root of 5 minus 2 minus f of gc is equals to 0. So, ang f of gc natin will be 0. Then, isolate naman natin yung joint E. So, summation f of x will be 0. So, 2.236 times 2 over square root of 5 minus f of EC times 2 over square root of 5 will be 0. So, f of EC is equals to 2.236K, which is in tension. So, summation f of y will be 0. F of ED is equals to 2.236 times 1 over square root of 5 minus 2.236 times 1 over square root of 5 minus 1.5 is equals to 0. So, ang FED natin is 3.5K, which is in compression. Then, lastly, we should isolate joint D. Summation of f of x will be 0. Then, ang f of DC natin will be 0. Para makuha natin yung mga forces sa KJ, CD, at CJ, kunin muna natin yung mga reactions niya by considering the entire truss. So, summation of f of x is equals to 0. Ang AX natin will be 0. Then, summation moment at A is equals to 0. So, negative 15 times 3 minus 15 times 6 minus 30 times 9 minus 20 times 12 minus 10 times 15 minus 5 times 18 plus gy times 18 is equals to 0. So, ang gy natin will be 49.17 kilonewtons. Then, summation of fy is equals to 0. Ay minus 5 minus 15 minus 15 minus 30 minus 20 minus 10 minus 5 plus 49.167 is equals to 0. So, ang ay natin is equals to 50.83 kilonewtons. Hatiin natin ang truss doon sa may KJ, CJ, at CD. Then, i-isolate ang left side and do the math. Para makuha ang KJ, moment tayo sa C. So, summation moment at C is equals to 15 times 3 plus 5 times 6 minus 50.83 times 6 plus F of KJ times 2 is equals to 0. So, ang F of KJ natin is equals to 115 kilonewton, which is in compression. Para naman makuha ang CJ, moment tayo sa A. So, summation moment at A is equals to 0. Negative 15 times 3 minus 15 times 6 plus f of cj times sine 33.69 times 9 is equals to 0. So, f of cj natin is equals to 27 kilonewton, which is in tension. At para makuha ang cd, moment lang tayo sa j. So, summation moment at j is equals to 0. Negative 50.83 times 9 plus 5 times 9 plus 15 times 6 plus 15 times 3 plus f of CD cosine 18.43 times 3 is equals to 0. So, ang f of CD natin is equals to 97.5 kilonewton, which is in tension. Para ma-solve natin itong problem, consider muna natin yung frame at kunin yung mga resultant forces. Tapos, hatiin natin siya at point B. Consider muna natin yung left side. Move tayo sa point A para makakuha tayo ng equation with the variables of Bx and By. So, summation moment at A is equals to 0. Negative 18 times By plus 16 times Bx is equals to 0. Then this will be equation 1. Then consider the right side at mag-moment naman tayo sa point C. So, summation moment at C is equals to 0. 18By plus 16Bx minus 15 times 5 minus 9 over square root of 90 times 56.921 times 9 minus 3 over square root of 90 times 56.921 times 13 is equals to 0. This will be equation number 2. Solving equation 1 and equation 2, Bx will be 24.84k and By is equals to 22.08k. Para makuha natin yung ibang reactions, mag-summation f of x at fy lang tayo. Consider first yung left side, then tsaka gamitin ang equilibrium equation. Ganon din sa right side.